guys, so it's Monday Motivational today, and I wanted to read something for you guys. One of my devotions, and it says, claim a larger blessing, and that's Psalm 108:13. It says, that's through God we will do valiantly. This says that there are two ways of getting out of trial. One is to simply try to get rid of the trial and be thankful when it's over. And the other is to recognize the trial as a challenge from God to claim a larger blessing that we have ever had. Sometimes God removes our trials, and it isn't necessarily wrong to ask Him to do that. But often, the trials remain, and when they do, we should accept them and ask God to teach us from them. As Peter Marshall once put it, God will not permit any troubles to come upon us unless He has a specific plan by which great blessing can come out of the difficulty. It is through the suffering, the tests and the trials of life that we can draw near to God. A.B. Simpson once heard a man say something he never forgot. He says, when God tests you, it is good time for you to test Him by putting His promises to the proof and claiming from Him just as much as your trials have rendered necessary. So what does that mean? So let me give you, I told you guys when I will share something that through my experience, okay? When I go through trials, there are trials that God takes away from me. I can honestly say that. But there are trials that God leaves. And I don't know how you guys were raised, but I was raised Southern Baptist. And one of the song actually with when it comes to tithe and offering, it says, trust, try, and prove me, says the Lord. I think for me, when I'm going through the awful times in my life back then, I would try my best to find ways to resolve and do my best to take care of it. And once I'm done, I usually pray, God, I have done everything that I could. Now it's your turn. And I do. When I remember at one point I needed a car. My car broke down and I had no money to go buy an extra car. I have none. So I was like, how am I going to do this? My husband uses the other car and I have to go to work. I have to take Caleb to school. How are we going to do this? So I've tried getting a loan and I couldn't get a loan. I've tried, what else have I tried? I've tried asking, and I asked to borrow money, but not with no expectations. And God shut that down. Just not. Because God is bigger than my problem. Be honest with you. At least that's how I see it. So I prayed. I remember this clearly. I said, okay, God, I've done everything I could. I tried to borrow money. I've asked if I could borrow money and then paid them when my paycheck comes. And that was a no. I tried borrowing. Like borrow. We already have a car note. That's the reason why I didn't want to go buy another one. So, and that was a no. Now I've done my part. Now it's your turn. So I waited for a couple of, maybe about 30 minutes. And then my son said, what? I remember my son was just, what was he? I think he was like 4. No. Yeah, I think it's 4. He said, Mama, how are you going to take me to preschool if you don't have a car? And I said, well, God will figure that out. God will find a way. If He doesn't, that means you're not supposed to be there. Maybe it's because to save you from something or save me from some driving. I don't know. Half an hour later, my phone rang and it was Dad. Dad said, hey, do you need a car? I'll give you money for the car. I'm like, what? And I never asked that. I asked other that I thought would, but never really asked Dad. Well, that's because my husband found somebody from his coworker at that time that's willing to sell her car. Let me give you God's timing, right? So here I am trying to do it on my way, right? And everything was like God closed all the doors. Then, not realizing God is working behind the scene. He's trying to work it out for my good, but here I am trying to do it my way, like always. Then my husband called. He said, "Hey, guess what? Your car, you have a car. We're gonna go pick it up." I said, "Wait, what? Oh, and don't worry about it. Dad's paying for it." I'm like, "Yeah, because Dad just go, wait, when did this all happen?" And then I'm like, I said, "Now I know." I looked up. Thank you. And I looked at Caleb, and I remember telling Caleb, "Hey, guess what? We have a car. Because you have to go to preschool." So that was, I believe that was Friday. We picked up our car Saturday. And then I still driving that car. Years. And that car still drives like a champ. I'm telling you, when God works, He doesn't, that thing that He gives you lasts. Everything else will break. That one He gave you lasts forever. That's how amazing the God that I serve. And sometimes I forget. I forget how good He is. And I forget how big He is. And that His plans are better than mine. That I am a living testimony of blessings and God's promises. I promise you, my life, I would share more things on my Monday motivational that you guys will like open your mouth, kind of like, "Oh, that happened to you?" Yeah, it happened to me. So the God that I serve is a good, kind, amazing God. The kind of God that knows what mine means. That at the end, it's already working. He's already working it out. The very best for me. He will open the window just for me. And He did. And He still does. He will do the same thing for you. Have a wonderful Monday evening. I hope you guys have, I'm having pot roast, by the way. I'm cooking a crack pot. So I hope you guys having good Monday evening. And have a wonderful, wonderful night with your family. And I hope you guys are having great dinner as well. Bye, y'all. See you tomorrow.